What if behind the funniest man in Hollywood was the saddest soul no one really saw? Robin Williams made the world laugh, but on the set of Mrs. Doubtfire, Sally Field witnessed something the cameras never captured: raw pain, hidden kindness, and a heartbreaking truth. Now, decades later, she's finally opening up about what really happened behind the scenes. This isn't just another Hollywood story. It's a powerful look at friendship, grief, and the cost of making the world smile. Stay with us. This will change how you remember him forever. When Sally Field first met Robin Williams, it wasn't at a glamorous party or an awards show. It was on the set of Mrs. Doubtfire in 1993, a film that would become a beloved classic. Robin played the role of Daniel Hillard, a father who transforms into the eccentric nanny Mrs. Doubtfire to stay close to his children after a painful divorce. Sally Field portrayed Miranda, his ex-wife. The film was directed by Chris Columbus, and the set quickly became a place where structured filmmaking met wild, unpredictable brilliance. From the moment they began working together, there was chemistry. But it wasn't the kind you manufacture with direction. It was real. Robin Williams would deliver 3 takes by the script. Then he'd take off, improvising, shifting voices, throwing in new lines. He turned every scene into something unpredictable and alive. For most actors, this would have been overwhelming. But Sally didn't try to outdo him. She didn't even try to match him. She grounded the scenes while Robin flew. Their dynamic became a delicate balance: fire and earth. Chris Columbus quickly realized that directing Robin Williams meant adjusting to a kind of creative chaos, one that was as magical as it was unpredictable. To capture the full spectrum of Robin's brilliance, Columbus began using multiple cameras during filming. No 2 takes were ever the same. One moment, Robin would stick to the script. The next, he'd launch into spontaneous improvisation. New voices, surprise lines, unexpected emotions. It kept everyone on their toes, and it made every scene feel alive. Behind all the laughter, Sally Field noticed something deeper. Robin wasn't just trying to be funny. He wanted every scene to feel real. He respected the craft, took the work seriously, and poured everything he had into each moment. Sally, known for her emotional authenticity, connected with that fully. Together, they didn't just act, they collaborated. Then, in the middle of production, heartbreak struck. Sally Field's father passed away. She was on set when the call came. Though he had struggled with health issues for years, his death shook her. She retreated to her trailer near the courtroom set, where they were filming a heavy emotional scene. Grief washed over her, but she didn't break. She stayed composed, focused, determined to perform. Because in Hollywood, that's what professionals are expected to do. But Robin noticed. He felt something was off. Her silence, her tension, her energy. Quietly, without creating a scene, he approached her and asked, "Are you okay?" She looked at him and said the hardest words of the day, "My father just died." Without hesitation, Robin Williams turned to the director. "We need to shoot around her," he said. "She needs to go." He used his influence as a star and co-producer to rearrange the schedule. Scenes that included Sally were pushed. Others were brought forward. She was given space to grieve, not because she asked, but because someone noticed, and someone cared. That moment stayed with Sally Field for the rest of her life. She didn't just remember the laughs or the funny voices. She remembered the man who pulled her out of pain before she collapsed, the one who didn't need applause to show his worth. That was the side of Robin Williams few people ever saw. And it wasn't just for her. He was like that with everyone. He made time for grips, lighting techs, makeup artists. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He learned names, asked questions, shared smiles. His kindness wasn't performative. It was sincere. Even off-set, Robin gave to the world. He co-founded Comic Relief USA, helping raise millions for the homeless. He supported literacy programs, veterans services, and disability causes. He used his fame as a spotlight, not to shine on himself, but on others. But beneath all that love, Robin Williams was fighting a secret war. In 2014, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. For someone whose identity was built on quick wit, movement, and verbal agility, the diagnosis was devastating. But even that wasn't the full story. After his death, it was discovered that he had been misdiagnosed. He was actually suffering from Lewy body dementia, a brutal and misunderstood disease that affects the brain's ability to function. It causes hallucinations, paranoia, memory loss, and depression. It's a silent, creeping illness that even doctors struggle to identify. To the world, Robin Williams was a boundless force of energy, always smiling, always performing. But beneath the laughter was a quiet unraveling. In his final years, that radiant light began to dim. He started forgetting lines, growing increasingly anxious, and slowly withdrawing from the people who loved him most. He tried to keep going. He even starred in The Crazy Ones, a sitcom that offered a glimmer of return to form. But when the show failed and was canceled after just one season, it struck a deep blow. It wasn't just the loss of a job, it was the loss of purpose. For a man whose identity had always been tied to his ability to uplift others, the silence that followed was deafening. Then, on August 11, 2014, the unthinkable happened. Robin Williams took his own life in his California home. The world was devastated. Tributes poured in from every corner of the globe. At the Emmy Awards, Billy Crystal stood on stage, voice cracking, remembering a friend who had brought joy to millions. Whoopi Goldberg said losing Robin was like losing a piece of herself. Even President Barack Obama honored his legacy, calling him an airman, a doctor, a genie, a nanny, but most of all, one of a kind. But perhaps the most quietly devastating tribute came from Sally Field. "He should be growing old with me," she said, her voice filled with the weight of memory and loss. Because she didn't just know the performer, she knew the person, the protector, the friend, the man who noticed her pain without her saying a word, who gave her space to grieve, who asked nothing in return but offered everything. And Sally Field understands what it means to be unseen. Throughout her life, she stood next to men who diminished her. Burt Reynolds, Tommy Lee Jones, Robert Blake, Shirley MacLaine, James Woods, Dustin Hoffman. But Robin Williams was different. He didn't try to silence her. He didn't compete. He simply saw her. And in a world obsessed with stealing the spotlight, Robin Williams was the rare soul who knew how to share it. For Sally, that meant everything. Today, we remember Robin Williams for the laughter. Mrs. Doubtfire, Aladdin, Dead Poets Society, Good Will Hunting, Patch Adams. But those who knew him best remember the quiet strength, the compassion, the way he reached out when no one else did. He was more than a performer. He was a protector of hearts. And that is how Sally Field will always remember him. Robin Williams made us laugh, but his greatest gift was how deeply he cared. Through Sally Field's eyes, we see the man behind the magic. A friend, a protector, a soul quietly suffering. If this touched you, like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories that reveal the heart behind the fame. Thanks for watching.